Yo, what's going on guys, Cryptic TMG back with a brand new video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I love LMU and the racing, and why to me it is the best sim for wheel-to-wheel racing right now. I currently think there is nothing better on the market, and I'm going to show you guys why in this video, so let's get stuck into it. So I was actually spectating my boy Carl racing around Le Mans, and as you guys already know, Le Mans is his favorite track. He literally pays rent here, he lives here, I swear to you. But one of the things I noticed about, watching him race and just watching the racing in general is how much you can race just by being in the car, but actually having to use your brain and, setting up moves that on some other titles don't always seem to work. A lot of the time you'll see, for instance, on ACC, you might, brake early to see if you can get the cutback. And even though theoretically you should get a better run out of the corner, it never quite seems to materialize the way it does on LMU. And you can see you can go wheel to wheel, you can hang on around the outside. You see Carl doing switchbacks, and when you do a switchback, 9 times out of 10 you will always get the run. So it's something where you actively have to be looking for the switchback, sometimes giving up on the entry to benefit on the exit, and it generally works. And for me personally, I don't see that as much in other titles. It kind of feels like, if you want to make an overtake, particularly on ACC, your car just generally has to be faster down the straight. That's just pretty much it. Whereas on LMU, it really is about your racecraft, how you think about your moves, how you strategically plan. Sometimes you might, put your nose into a corner just to make sure the guy can't, swipe across the front of you and take the inside line, just so you can get him offline to set him up for the next corner. And that is one of the main things I love about LMU, the way you can set people up 2 or 3 corners before you actually want to make the overtake. Now I want you guys to watch this clever piece of racing by both of these guys, and I'm gonna get the guy's name who was racing Carl in a second, but Carl gives up on the entry to the corner. So watch the other guy, he goes in deep into the corner, so Carl knows he's already going to get the switchback. And the thing is about this game, as I said before, once you commit to a corner on the inside line and you go too deep, best believe the person's going to get the run on you if they know what they're doing. So Carl's on the cutback underneath, does the switchback, perfectly executed, then gets the run out of the corner, and 9 times out of 10 this is going to work, guys. You can see he's able to pull just in front, but watch what, let me get this guy's name. His name is Trusicki. I think that's how you say his name. Hopefully that's how you say his name. But I'm going to call him Michelage because it's easier. Okay, so watch what Michelage does here. Let me just get rid of that. Going into this corner, he never really allows Carl to cut across the front of his car. Just keeps his nose in, so Carl has to give him space. And then dives straight back down the inside, just to make sure he always gives himself a chance. Now, the reason why that was smart is because even though Carl was almost all the way ahead, he made it so Carl cannot cut him off. So he's still going to have an opportunity to send the car down the inside at all times. So he gets back in front of Carl here. And now, of course, you're going to have the long straight, which Carl's going to get slipstream for again. And it's just a to and fro, and how clever these guys are when they battle. So one of the main things you want to do when you're racing on LMU, particularly when like this, someone's got the slipstream on you, they're going to get the run, that you're going to be side by side at some point. Remember, the side draft is extremely strong on this game. So even when you get side by side with someone, don't pull away. Make sure you stay as close as possible, because it's actually going to start pulling you back towards them. And again, look what he does. Just in the braking zone, he makes sure he opens up the track to make it so he can get a run back on Carl. So pretty clever, and this is what pretty much most of the good drivers will do. If you're entering a corner and you're side by side, keep the squeeze on until you get towards the braking zone, then open up the corner. Look what he does right here. Opens up the corner in the braking zone. Carl has to brake into the corner very narrowly, so he's not going to be able to carry a lot of apex speed through here. Then Michelage gets to carry the speed through the corner, gets the better line, so he knows he's going to get the run again on Carl. Let's just fast forward this a little bit. Slipstream, Carl actually got a pretty decent exit, but it gets close again. Carl has to defend, and once more, brakes pretty late, actually sends it round the outside, which, what a move. That's actually insane. To outbrake Carl, you got to be doing something pretty decent. But again, it's just one of those things with the racing on this game, man. There's things that you can get away with, you know? Sends it round the outside, but he's going to be narrow into this section, so Carl is probably going to get the cutback. And this time, he's going to be the one that's going to get the better run out of the corner and get the run down the straight. And as I said before, guys, you just have to think about things sort of in what's going to happen 2-3 corners afterwards. So you can see what Michelaj is trying to do. He's trying to make Carl go as the long way round as much as possible. And you can see the side draft is actually working for Michelaj because it's not allowing Carl to just get the run and go past. So remember, if you can keep very close to the car that's next to you, sometimes you can get the advantage with the side draft, even if you're the car that's about to be overtaken. So remember that. Don't just pull to one side and have a big gap between you, because sometimes it will just allow the overtaken car to fly past you. So again, coming into this corner, Michelaj on the inside. Carl takes the wide line in, but defended pretty well. Didn't get the switchback spot on that time. So again, you're going to see he's going to have to slipstream down the straight. And how will they go into the next corner? Because for me, this corner is quite a tricky one to go side by side through. And both drivers know this. You know, when you're racing someone around here, you know that the next corner is fairly sketchy, very easy to get wrong. So you really have to concentrate and think about what is your plan for this corner. Carl, all the way around the outside. Will he let it stick? They both actually go side by side. And again, insane racing, literally side by side through some of the most difficult corners. And LMU just allows you to do this because, you know, there's enough grip on the outside. You can get really close with the cars. And again, you see the switchback always works. You know, if you give up on the entry and focus on the exit, it always works. And now Michelaj back in the slipstream of Carl. I'm telling you guys, I was watching this race in Discord like, yo, you have to send me this replay because this is insane. The mistake Carl makes here is he opens up the corner, he allows the inside to be taken, and, you know, when you're racing decent people, they will take it. So as they go through his corner, Michelaj sends it. Carl still hanging around the outside, still keeps his nosing a little bit, but has to give it up. But just look how close you're able to race. Look how close these guys are, and it's literally every corner. I think Carl was slightly faster, but, you know, with such long straights, being able to slipstream, and to be honest, Michelaj is a pretty decent racer. He literally knows what he's doing, knows where to place the car, and, you know, this is just a back and forth battle. I believe Sam Gaskell was in this race, and he's just absolutely bolted. And of course, when you battle this hard, you're going to cost yourself a lot of time. So again, all race long, all lap long, these guys have been battling, cannot get away from each other. So we're going to forward it some more. Going into turn one again, look how close Carl's able to follow. And of course, being this close, you're probably going to get the run down the straight. As you see again, more slipstream, another run down the straight. Again, we see the same tactic from Michelaj to keep him pinned toward the inside. I think Carl's slightly further ahead than he was on the last lap, so he may be able to pull, but no, Michelaj keeps the side draft, and you see he's literally not dropping behind because he's so close. He's keeping the side draft and making sure Carl can't come across to the left-hand side to open up the braking as well. It's extremely clever, and now he's going to probably get the switch back, better line for the corner, and going to get the slipstream again. Carl actually does pretty well, even though braking on the inside. He does pretty well to carry the speed through the corner, and you can see it's a decent sized gap, but it's not big enough to break slipstream. So again, let's fast forward this. Michelaj stays behind for this corner, but he's right behind Carl now. Again, Carl does get very good exits. That's one thing. He does get pretty good exits. But this time, Michelaj sends it towards the inside. I personally wouldn't have done that, but he actually spooks Carl off the line, deep into the braking zone. So now, again, he's going to get the run. And we're going to see the side draft again. Now they're racing door to door again, back through this corner, which was an extremely edgy corner to go side by side through. But they're going to do it again. And you see the side draft, even though Carl didn't get a better run, he gets the side draft, which actually starts to pull him ahead. But now Michelaj is starting to get pulled ahead by the side draft. Carl now coming back. You see what I mean? So when you stay close together, this is what happens. Michelard sends it through this corner. I believe this was the last lap. Let's go back because he absolutely sends it defending into this corner. Now, the racing was tough, rough. It was hard, but it was always fair between these two, in my opinion. A lot of commitment shown by both drivers here. And he absolutely sent it, holds onto it, manages to get it slowed down on the inside, blocks off the cutback, and very, very clever racing. Now, Carl Smart here pulls towards the outside, tries to get the cutback, but Michelard manages to park it a little bit on the exit. And again, just great racing, man. And because you can sort of, you know, door bang and rub, it allows you to have these very sort of, you know, aggressive battles where, you know, you can really get close together. But if you know, if you guys are good and clean, you can literally make it work. Look how Carl's able to hold the outside, then again holds the inside, and just look how close the battling is, man. This is what racing's pretty much all about. Even though both of these guys probably would have thought maybe I can try and win this race, I believe Carl qualified in second. It's pretty much all about the racing, man. It's all about the racing. Carl goes a little bit wide, but again, well defended. These guys, for how many laps this was going on, lap after lap. This is actually the last lap, and Michelard goes a little bit deep. Carl could send it through here, but it's well defended. And again, what a race, what a battle. I was sat in Discord like, yo, this is actually a quality race. And, you know, this is why I'm sort of on at LMU themselves to be streaming a lot of these, particularly the bigger events. I hope they do take heed. I hope they do listen and start streaming these events, because you can get racing like this. And it's just, for me, the prime reason why at the moment LMU is better than anything else on the market when it comes to wheel-to-wheel action. To me, it's just better, okay? But guys, tell me what you think. If you can learn anything from what these guys did in this video, trust me, take some of the tips. Make sure if you're racing wheel-to-wheel, you know, you're focusing on your exits, getting the run, your cutbacks, defending in the right way, leaving your nose in when you have to stop them from maybe getting the optimal line for a corner. All those things are applicable for racing at NMU, and you can get away with it because you can actually race, you can send it around the outside, you can do all sorts, you know. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think. Cryptic TNG, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to catch my videos first, and peace.